I paid off her debts and bought her a car. She dumped me, said she could finally do better. So I took everything back and left her with nothing. Hello Reddit I plus here. This has been sitting in my chest like a cinder block for a while now, and honestly, I don't even care if I get judged for what I did. I'm not proud of how petty I was, but I also don't regret it. I gave this woman everything, and she turned around and treated me like I was just a stepping stone. Here goes. I met Lexi 3 years ago at a university coffee shop. I was there with my cousin who was starting his freshman year, and she was working behind the counter. She had this quiet charm, reading a book under the register and scribbling notes on the sleeve of her coffee cup. We hit it off almost instantly. 1 week later, I asked her out. A month later, we were seeing each other regularly. Lexi had dropped out of college a year before we met. She was deep in medical debt from an outpatient surgery gone sideways. No insurance. $12,000 in bills she couldn't crawl out from under. She was living paycheck to paycheck, crashing with a friend, working 2 jobs, and driving this beat-up old Saturn that died more often than it ran. I run a tech repair business. Not flashy, but it does well. I'm comfortable. No debt. Good savings. Own my car outright. After about 2 months together, I told her I wanted to help. She resisted, told me it wasn't my responsibility, but I could see what the stress was doing to her. She'd get panic attacks over a bounced check. Wouldn't even go to the doctor when she had strep because she didn't want to owe more. So I did it anyway. Quietly. I paid off her debt. I told her about it over takeout one night. Showed her the receipt. She cried and said she didn't deserve someone like me. That she didn't know how to thank me. I told her she didn't need to do anything. That I believed in her. A few months later, when her car finally crapped out for good, I surprised her with a used Honda Civic in great condition. Again, nothing crazy. But reliable. I still remember the way she hugged me and said she'd never felt so safe with anyone before. I put the insurance and title in my name, because her credit was trashed, and I figured we were going to be together for the long haul anyway. We moved in together after 6 months. I covered the bulk of the rent. She dropped one of her jobs, said she wanted to figure out what she really wanted to do with her life. Maybe go back to school, maybe write, maybe open a food truck. I supported it all. Every damn dream. I cooked, cleaned, brought her lunch to work when she forgot, encouraged her when she felt lost, bought her books and journals, and all the little things she said made her feel inspired. I thought we were happy, until she started acting off. It started with little things. Hiding her phone screen when I walked in the room. Going out more and more. Telling me she was just with friends, but never inviting me along. She started dressing differently too. More polished, more like someone who had something to prove. One night I walked past her iPad, which she rarely used anymore, and noticed it lighting up. A message popped through from someone saved as Evan, work. You free tonight? He still doesn't know? Something inside me snapped a little. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I opened the messages and kept reading. Turned out this wasn't just a fling. She had been seeing this guy for at least a year. A co-worker from the cafe. They'd been hooking up in secret, laughing about how easy I made things for her. One message that gutted me. Give it a few more weeks. Once I've got the car title switched and the credit cleared, I'll be done babysitting him. She called me Plan B in one text. In another, my sugar bitch. I wish I was making this up. The worst part? 2 days later, before I said anything, she sat me down on the couch like she was giving a TED talk and said, I've been thinking a lot lately. I feel like I'm finally at a place where I can breathe. Like, I can do better now. Than this? Than you? She said it so casually, like she was returning a pair of shoes. I just nodded, and that night, while she was sleeping, I got to work. I still had access to everything. Car? In my name. I had a spare key. Insurance? I canceled it. Phone? Still on my plan. I cut her line off. Streaming services, groceries, utilities, all pulled. The lease? I'd added her as an occupant, not a co-tenant. She had 0 rights. While she was getting dressed for work the next morning, I waited until she left, then had the car towed. She called me screaming that it was gone. I told her the truth. It wasn't yours. She tried to come back to the apartment, only to find the locks changed. She called the cops. I showed them the lease and all the receipts. They told her she had 48 hours to retrieve her things under supervision, or they'd consider it trespassing. Her backup plan had just fallen through. To make things worse, for her, I printed screenshots of all the messages between her and Evan. Everything. The name-calling, the planning, the stuff they said about me. I didn't post them online. I'm not vindictive like that. But I did send them to her mom. Why? Because she introduced me to her mom like I was the best thing that ever happened to her daughter. The woman loved me. Turns out, she didn't know Lexi was cheating. She thought we were planning to get engaged. That bridge? Burned to ash. Lexi tried to crawl back a couple of weeks later. Said it was a mistake. That she let insecurities ruin a good thing. That she didn't know what real love looked like until I was gone. I told her this. You didn't ruin a good thing. You never wanted a good thing. You wanted a free ride, and I closed the door. Haven't seen her since. I kept all the receipts, not out of spite, but as a reminder. Next time someone tells me they just need a little help, I'll listen closer to what they don't say. I still believe in love, but now I believe in boundaries even more. I'd be lying if I said it didn't mess me up. Not just the betrayal, but the realization that someone I loved looked me in the face for almost 2 years while treating me like a placeholder. Like a goddamn bridge between struggle and success. I'd come home from work some nights and still set down 2 plates before remembering I was alone. I'd catch myself walking toward the cafe out of habit before turning around. It wasn't just the loss of a girlfriend. It was the loss of a future I thought we were building. The jokes we'd made about getting a dog, the weekend road trips, the dumb little rituals like Friday night grocery runs and Sunday pancakes. I had to reprogram my life in slow motion. And then, a friend of mine, Jake, who works downtown, hit me up out of the blue. Said, "Hey, didn't you used to date a girl named Lexi? Think I saw her applying for a job at this smoothie bar. She looked rough." I didn't ask for more, but a week later I drove by, just to see for myself. Curiosity, I guess. She looked like a shadow of the girl I once knew. Hair fried from too much bleach. Clothes still aesthetic, but no longer confident. Just trying too hard. She didn't see me, and I didn't stop. But something clicked that day. Evan had apparently ghosted her not long after our breakup. Probably once she wasn't shiny and debt-free anymore. A mutual acquaintance told me he had a girlfriend before Lexi even left me and only used her for free rides and chill nights with no strings. Sound familiar? She tried reaching out once more after that, this time with a voice note. I don't know if you'll ever listen to this, but I wanted to say, you were right. About everything. And I'm sorry. I miss you. I miss us. I miss being someone you believed in. I didn't know how rare that was until now. I didn't reply. Not out of anger, but because I finally understood something I hadn't before. Just because you helped someone when they were drowning doesn't mean they'll remember your name when they reach the shore. Some people don't want to be saved. They want to use your boat to reach the next one. And I've stopped rescuing people who puncture holes while I'm still paddling, but I did keep the voicemail. Not as a trophy. Not as a gotcha. But as a reminder that love, real love, should never make you feel like a utility. That believing in someone is beautiful. But you need to be with someone who believes in you, too. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when it benefits them. The part that hits hardest? I still hope she finds her way. Not back to me, but to a version of herself that doesn't rely on manipulating others to feel worthy. Me, I've started dating again, slowly, carefully, with eyes wide open. And when the right person comes along, they won't have to earn me with desperation. They'll meet me where I am, with honesty, trust, and mutual respect. No more savior complexes. No more building kingdoms just to be exiled. This time, I'll build with someone who's already walking beside me, not standing on my shoulders to reach someone else.